2019. What were some of the goals y'all were trying to reach, and what some that you feel like you accomplished during this year, Mayor?
I think a lot of it still revolves around growth of downtown. I think we made some major fronts on that. We also, are looking at a lot of different things in regards to our neighborhoods and recreation. So those three buckets were still big things for us this year.
Let's talk about downtown a little bit. Of course, the biggest thing is the hotel.
Yeah,
that's the biggest new construction project. But there's a lot of other things going on too. Where are we with the hotel? And then we'll talk about some of the other things.
Yeah, the hotel it's a home to suites. It's 80 plus rooms, meeting space. I would think that they will have a restaurant in the hotel. I don't know where we are in regards to that recruitment. I think that's still out there. With that, in that same block, we just approved or going forward with the Market McDuffie parking garage, which will be part of the hotel. It's 350 or so spots, 7 stories, and so that's going to have to go in connection with the hotel. So I guess the big thing would be is that the plans are that February of 2021 that will be in play.
Be here for you. Now that parking garage, there's still some potential plans for like a rooftop event kind of place. And
it is. I think we are looking at if you've ever. We've had people over the years ask us if they could have an event on the Murray Street parking garage, and it's just not structurally built for that load of having people there. And
beautiful view though.
Yeah, it is. If you've been up there, so this one in particular, sitting here looking at a picture of it conceptually, will be a place where it'd be a public space where one could go up and take a view of the city. And also we are designing it hopefully where maybe there could be a restaurant or some type of rooftop bar at some time too. And so I think this hotel will, I think it kind of puts us in play with having a event center right across the street from the hotel. I think it somewhat puts us in play for small regional type of conventions with 50 to 100 people to be able to come into our downtown area, and just having people here during the course of the week to support retail and restaurants, and that's important.
Well, you mentioned that a lot more people are living downtown, and
yes.
With the way the plans are looking in the future, a whole lot more spaces for people to live downtown. What are still some pieces y'all are looking for to make living downtown more feasible and more pleasant?
Well, obviously, we have to make sure that the environment is a safe environment, and so we have, I don't know, hopefully you noticed more of a presence from our police department during the course of a given day at night on weekends. We have to keep the city clean, and so that entails picking up after the night before on Fridays and Saturdays, and so we have people out there. I think beautification is part of it. We are very interested. If you notice some of I think one thing that right around Christmas time, I don't know if you noticed that we're replacing all the globed street lights to white LED lights, and so even the brightness of the city has stood out over the last, and light makes people feel safer, and so we've got to continue to do that. We've got to continue to. I'm very proud of the Economic Development Department. You start looking at the retail, the shops that have opened over the past year. So just recently across the street, women's retail, Tracy store, I was in there this Christmas, and it's a neat little place too. I think the County Square project is a very big piece to that, and that brings more parking challenges and more aspects for surface parking or parking garages. We are feeling that pain too.
In the county, it seems like this is one of the best cooperative effort kind of things as y'all are looking at that downtown courthouse square, working with the city and county together. So
Yeah.
And that's very important. This system moves forward.
And we had a lot of cooperation with the county in regards to the hotel, the Palmetto building, this building across the street. So it can't be understated the cooperation between the city and the county in regards to the economic development of our county.
And you mentioned the city economic development. This year you really launched the Shock This Block.
Yes.
Sort of vision casting, and some little pieces of that are already in place.
Yeah.
And how important do you think that'll be moving towards, at least it's somewhat of a blueprint for some change?
It is. I think, the people who do this very well, speaking of Greenville and other cities, it allows us to and to talk to developers about here's what we think should go in this block or this block. And I think even the cool thing about it is that we had over 1,000 people participate in that. And so when you get people to participate and say, okay, this is what we think this corridor should look like, this is what, so it allows us to have a blueprint for people who are coming in to develop, or even people locally who are going to develop.
You mentioned recreation opportunities that seems to be a rising importance when people choosing where to live.
Yes.
And how are we moving? You're talking about some expansion. Tell me about some of the expansion. Also, the trails plan for the city to kind of connect everything.
Well, I think people in 2020 will see the first another piece of that. I'm going to talk about two, but I'm going to talk about the extension of the Lindley Park Trail and the completion of phase 2 of our recreation fields, and basically trying to we'll do 2 more ball fields on the back side of our existing ball fields at the rec center. Take those ball fields in Lindley Park out of play, and have that as a bigger green space, and it just connects the bigger plan. Our bigger bike and pedestrian plan encompasses throughout the city, and I think that would be the first piece of that. The second one, I think, is through the Anderson Area Transportation Committee, just the extension of the East-West Parkway to the Civic Center and to ANMED's walking track. So in theory, you could park at ANMED and bike, run, walk from ANMED to the Civic Center. And so that kind of extends that probably about, if I'm not mistaken, I think they've estimated to be, 7.5 to 8 miles in that regard. So that's exciting. I see more and more people using that. That was a great project. We had a lot of resistance, but people who even resisted that project now saying it's probably the better thing, one of the best things that the Transportation Committee did.
And eventually, all the tracks will connect, right? I mean, somewhere.
That's
the big plan.
That's the big plan. And I think the difference between, and I talk to people about this a lot. It connects our city and our community. It connects AU. It connects ANMED. It connects, and so it's not a rural trail. It's a trail in the heart of the city.
You mentioned the rec center too. Bobby Bevel and his crew over there have really done a good job developing that, and it seems to, the use of that facility seems to have just grown and grown and grown.
It is, and I think eventually that center will be expanded. Probably not this year, but hindsight being 2020, is at its max right now. Probably there are plans to, we conceptually have looked at plans to basically double that space, and it won't happen this year, but in 2020. But those would be some of the plans that would be after the expansion of the ball fields.
As the city continues to grow, it looks like the next census you're probably going to see some more growth and all. What are some of the other long-term plans you're looking at?
Well, I mean, again, we have a lot of building, and we have some residents off of Blakely and Glenwood, so that's some housing developments. We have a couple other plans, I think, for more development of houses in the city. I think the city will expand. We want Anderson to be Anderson. We don't want it to be a Greenville or Spartanburg. We want to keep our uniqueness and try to control that aspect of growth too.
And one of the things y'all done with the city is try to help businesses down here kind of refresh their storefronts and do some other
Sure.
things.
Yeah. The economic, we have some grants that right at $100,000 that we give out in regards to grants, facade improvements, interior improvements. So that's important.
And people, I know this is a challenge that all government is facing, but getting citizens involved is always a challenge. I know at the meetings you don't see a big crowd at county or city council meetings. What can we do to get our folks more involved, do you think?
You know, that's a struggle in local government, state government, national government, getting people involved. You know, you usually get people involved when you start talking about zoning and neighborhoods, and that tends to bring people out because it's where they live. I get that. So I don't know. I mean, we try to do a lot of things, and I think everybody does. Social media, we have a presence on all the major social media aspects and trying to get information out. I think we have this. I'll do a plug for. We have a app where citizens can. I think it's called Click Fit, but you can download the app if you see something that needs repaired, a light out, a sidewalk repaired, or something that we need to do. So just getting. I mean, in this day and age, you have to have that aspect of mobile apps and just reaching people in different ways. Yeah, Facebook. Yeah, we have. I mean, our they do a great job in our IT department with just our internal website. Then you have a separate downtown website, and with Facebook and Twitter and those media outlets too. So that's how we're kind of doing it. I've noticed even the pictures here lately of the just following the ice rink this year. It seems like there's been a lot of traffic on that. More
and good weather this year for
good weather. Hopefully, I know we need rain,
right,
but we need it to stop just for a little bit so we can get the hotel going and the parking garage going too.